Turning back to Rand, she put on her sternest face. I would have expected something like that from Matt. I thought you at least had grown up. We came here to help you if we can. Try to cooperate. Do something with the power, something that isn't childish. Perhaps we will be able to sense that. Hunched, he glared at them. Do something? He muttered. You had no call to Olymph. You want me to do something? Suddenly she lifted into the air, and Elaine too. They stared at each other wide-eyed as they floated a pace above the carpet. There was nothing holding them. No flows Egwene could feel or see. Nothing. Her mouth tightened. He had no right to do this, no right at all. And it was time he learned it. The same sort of shield of spirit that cut Joya off from the source would stop him, too. Aes Sedai used it on the rare men they found who could channel. She opened herself to saidar, and her stomach sank. saidar was there. She could feel its warmth and light. But between her and the true source stood something. Nothing. An absence that shut her away from the source like a stone wall. She felt hollow inside, until panic welled up to fill her. A man was channeling, and she was caught in it. He was Rand, of course, but dangling there like a basket, helpless, all she could think of was a man channeling, and the taint on saidin. She tried to shout at him, but all that came out was a croak. You want me to do something? Rand growled. A pair of small tables flexed their legs awkwardly, the wood creaking, and began to stumble about in a stiff parody of dance, gilt flaking off and falling. Do you like this? Fire flared up in the fireplace, filling the hearth from side to side, burning on stone bare of ashes. Or this? The tall stag and wolves above the fireplace began to soften and slump. Thin streams of gold and silver flowed out from the mass, fining down to shining threads, snaking, weaving themselves into a narrow sheet of metallic cloth. The length of glittering fabric hung in the air as it grew. Its far end still linked to the slowly melting statuette on the stone mantel. Do something, Rand said. Do something! Do you have any idea what it is like to touch saidin? To hold it? Do you? I can feel the madness waiting, seeping into me. Abruptly, the capering tables burst into flame like torches, dancing still. Books spun in the air, pages fluttering. The mattress on the bed erupted, showering feathers across the room like snow. Feathers falling onto the burning tables filled the room with their sharp, sooty stink. For a moment, Rand stared wildly at the blazing tables. Then whatever was holding Egwene and Elaine vanished, along with the shield. Their heels thumped onto the carpet in the same instant the flames went out, as if sucked into the wood they had been consuming. The blaze in the fireplace winked out as well, and the books fell to the floor in a worse jumble than before. The length of gold and silver cloth dropped too, along with strands of rough melted metal, no longer liquid or even hot. Only 3 largish lumps, 2 silver and 1 gold, remained on the mantel, cold and unrecognizable. Egwene had staggered into Elaine as they landed. They clutched each other for support, but Egwene felt the other woman doing exactly what she was doing, embracing saidar as quickly as she could. In moments she had a shield ready to throw around Rand if he even appeared to be channeling. But he stood stunned, staring at the charred tables with feathers still drifting down around him, flecking his coat. He did not seem to be a danger now, but the room was certainly a mess. She wove tiny flows of air to pull all the floating feathers together, and those already on the carpet as well. As an afterthought, she added those on his coat. The rest of it he could have the Megere straighten, or see to himself. Rand flinched as the feathers floated past him to alight on the tattered ruins of the mattress. It did nothing for the smell, burned feathers and burned wood, but at least the room was neater, and the open windows and faint breezes were already lessening the stench. The Megere may not want to give me another, he said with a strained laugh. A mattress a day is probably more than she is willing to. He avoided looking at her or Elaine. I'm sorry. I did not mean to. Sometimes it runs wild. Sometimes there's nothing there when I reach for it, and sometimes it does things I don't. I'm sorry. Perhaps you had better go. I seem to say that a lot. He blushed again and cleared his throat. I am not touching the source, but maybe you had best go. We are not done yet, Egwene said gently, more gently than she felt. She wanted to box his ears. The idea of picking her up like that, shielding her, and Elaine. But he was on the ragged edge. Of what, she did not know, and she did not want to find out, not now, not here. With so many exclaiming over their strength, everyone said she and Elaine would be among the strongest Aes Sedai, if not the strongest, in 1,000 years or more. She had assumed they were as strong as he, near to it at least. She had just been rudely disabused. Perhaps Nynaeve could come close, if she was angry enough. But Egwene knew she herself could never have done what he just had. Split her flows that many ways, worked that many things at once. Working 2 flows at once was far more than twice as hard as working 1 of the same magnitude, and working 3 much more than twice again working 2. He had to have been weaving 12. He did not even look tired, yet exertion with the power took energy. She very much feared he could handle her and Elaine both like kittens. Kittens he might decide to drown if he went mad.